I had grown up interested in literature and the arts to the extent you could be in Mobile, Alabama, where I lived until I graduated high school. But at Florida State University, I majored in English, I minored in theater. I spent 6 months in London on an exchange program studying theater and dance somewhat there. I saw Rudolf Nureyev do Swan Lake, and I went backstage afterwards and got his autograph. And at Florida State University, they had a small but very effective dance program. And through this magnificent woman that ran it, whose name was Nancy Smith, no relation, I was drawn into dance, and I studied some dance academically then. I took a introductory ballet course, which I'm glad I did because it taught me how impossibly difficult the most rudimentary moves and positions of ballet are to make look remotely attractive. But that got me interested in dance, and so that was in the back of my mind. I had done a little newspaper work in the South where I grew up and went to school. And at the time, they had a famous news bureau, a local news bureau called the Chicago City News. It had been founded around 1900 by the dozens of papers that existed then. But it was somewhat famous for hiring entry-level journalists and training them as to how to be a big city reporter. I worked for City News for a couple of years, got hired for the Tribune's suburban divisions, and for 2 or 3 more years I covered suburban news. The suburban sections had their own tiny entertainment division, and we covered theater, dance, and dining just for the suburbs. So for a couple of years I got a real education in the suburban arts, but that included things like Hubbard Street Dance when they came to perform in the suburbs. You know, there would be sometimes a traveling Broadway show, but companies like Paul Taylor, Palabolas, sometimes small ensembles put together from American Ballet Theater or that like would show up on these dance programs. And I attracted the attention of the Tribune's chief theater and dance critic, who was then named entertainment editor and needed help. And he transferred me downtown in, I believe, 82 or 83 to cover theater and dance pretty much full time at that point. And I did movie stories and other things like that, but I assisted him in reviewing theater and dance from 83 on. And frankly, from that point, all I covered was the arts, increasingly theater and dance until the 90s. I really went to dance full time, just about.